Welcome back to the Burr Investor Podcast, where our mission is to empower aspiring real estate investors in their journey towards building generational wealth. All right, super excited for another episode. Today is another special one. So today we're thrilled to welcome Terza Ekholm, a distinguished AI expert and a former engineer who has seamlessly transitioned into the realm of artificial intelligence. With her extensive background, Terza now dedicates herself to revolutionizing the industry by educating professionals on how to harness the power of AI to enhance their business strategies and operations. She brings a wealth of knowledge and a practical insights that are reshaping how professionals leverage technology for success. So, Tirza, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Alex. I'm delighted to be here.
So excited to have you, and so excited, to just listen to what you have to share. Basically, in a nutshell, like, you're focusing your business now on helping other business owners of different sizes, one, understand what AI is, educating them on AI, and then, showing them how they can leverage AI tools to scale their business and grow their business, right?
Mhm. Exactly. Yes. Yes. I'm so excited about being able to. Well, first of all, I've been using AI tools for the last couple of years for myself, and I have learned so much just from that. Um, and I'm excited to share these tools with other business owners. So I want to make sure that people don't get left behind, right? We're not all big companies, all right, who can, buy up these gigantic quantum computers or whatever, and it shouldn't need to be that way. People should be able to access AI easily and know what to do with it to improve their businesses.
100% agree. And the cool thing about this, and with me just wrapping my head around, AI, learning a lot from you, it seems like it's something that applies to almost every business or every industry or anybody, that, it can help them be efficient and, so, in many ways make money, make a lot of money as well.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. The monetization part has been fun and exciting as well, Alex. So, not only for myself, but helping other business owners find their way through this. It doesn't need to be a jungle, and you don't need to have, 17 layers of prompts necessarily to get what you want.
Yeah. And the cool thing I got from you is you don't want people to be left behind, because it's
Mhm.
easy to get left behind with how fast this is growing, this is changing, it's evolving. I mean, for me, I knew about ChatGPT and I would hear a lot about different things that come up. I would focus on the tool that was something that I was using. We were using it very well, and then come to realize there's so many others out there, which I can't wait to dive into and talk about. But yeah, I mean, you can get left behind very easily because this is moving fast.
Yes, yes. It's also easy to get overwhelmed. I read the other day that 2,000 AI apps are released every day. Nobody could keep up with that.
Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So just to share a little bit about, Tirza and I are part of a mastermind group. She's been there for many, many years. I've been there for a couple years, and we collaborate with, professionals. And, we had the opportunity to finally meet in person earlier this year, on a cruise that we went on for the mastermind, and it was phenomenal. And that's where kind of you really opened up my eyes and my mind to what's really out there, right? Again, I came in with the thinking that, okay, chat gpt, that's the biggest thing, that's the greatest thing, they keep upgrading the different versions. And then at that time, DeepSeek had come out and it was like disrupting. And even then, when I was listening to you and we had John, another AI genius there, and then talking about the different things like Gamma, Synthesia, U.com, the AI agents and all that, I'm like, wow, so, so I'm assuming we'll touch on some of these tools, on this episode. But there's just, I want to emphasize there's just so much out there, and it's helped me just in this short amount of time, just being exposed to it, understanding it. And again, you can get overwhelmed easily. right? There's a lot of new things. For me, like I picked up a few that, I know I can apply right now to my business. Like, big example is, using ChatGPT to create, a presentation, and with collaborating with Gamma to make it visible. So that was awesome. I tried that. I do have a presentation next week that I'm waiting till the night before so I can so I can try putting that together. So, well, before we dive deeper into this, could you share a little bit about, your journey from engineering to becoming an AI expert, and like what sparked that?
I'm happy to share a little bit about that. So, I actually started engineering when I was 16, believe it or not, um, when HP, Hewlett Packard then, it came to all the local high schools and was looking specifically for girls to introduce to engineering.
Mm.
So it was Women in Engineering Day. And because I was good in math and science, they invited me. And it really opened my eyes to what was possible. So I definitely chose that career path right out of high school and became a software engineer and worked for Digital Equipment Corporation, then Compaq, then HP. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
But it was a blast, Alex. I mean, to be in an industry that was growing so fast, kind of like AI is now, and creating such exciting things. It was really exciting then. So I learned a lot from engineering then about how to solve problems with computers and programming.
That's amazing. That's a great tie.
So back in the year 2000, my husband and I were both laid off from the same company. The industry itself was going through several changes, and I was super excited because I was going for new possibilities, and
Mm.
my husband was totally depressed. So um, he stayed in the industry actually as a contractor, and I went on to try other things because I'm just super curious about everything. So I went into art. I did quite a few other things, gratitude coaching and that kind of thing. But eventually, digital art came into being. I shifted my focus to digital art, and then AI came, and then, wow! I mean, how fun AI has been since it's come out, and it has, as you pointed out, Alex, it has grown so fast, and I encourage us to try to grow with it and make it useful for us.
And would I be wrong to think that, you found the usability of AI with like digital art and with other things that you were doing?
Yes. Yes, that's what I began to notice. So I started with the first Dolly, the first app that was actually preceded ChatGPT
Oh,
by
wow.
OpenAI. And I didn't quite understand it in that moment, but other AI assisted art apps started appearing and they made more sense to me. So I took what I learned from that so that when ChatGPT came out, I was better prepared. So
Wow.
just by learning how to use your words to create images.
And for those that are listening that are, they don't know what we're talking about. I mean, again, it's new, but not that new, because of the way that it's growing, every day it changes. Can you like simplify what is AI, and based on your journey, how have you seen that, significantly change throughout the years?
Well, AI is just another way of thinking about computers that can spot patterns and trends. So I don't remember, I don't have the right dates, but when you began to see perhaps predictive text on your phone,
Okay.
that was already artificial intelligence at work because it was learning to predict what words you might possibly use next to save you time, when you're texting and typing. So AI is just it's software that's trained to notice patterns and make predictions or suggestions. It's like having a super efficient assistant who's learning from reading millions of documents and can now help you with write emails, analyze data, or automate repetitive tasks. So when the internet first came online, Alex, um, we suddenly had access to tons and tons of data, and it has grown amazingly since then. And humans can't keep up with that.
Yeah.
So artificial intelligence helps us sift through all that data and find the patterns. And that's how they're able to help us do research like medical research, sales trends. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
So, but we humans do that. Now artificial intelligence does it on a grander scale.
Faster too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and like the real estate industry, there are, many tools out there. I'm sure more than I even know of, but like on our platform, we do use it to, like you said, to kind of predict some behaviors and, some analytics based on, if somebody wants to, it wants to sell, if somebody's looking to buy based on their behavior online and things like that. I'm sure it gets it. And there's something that, I've noticed many times, and people that I know as well, sometimes you'll be talking, having a conversation about something, you pick up your phone, all of a sudden whatever you're talking about, a product or service, is on your feed, so I wonder how that happened, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Between my phone and my watch and my computer, I know there's listening happening. Plus, you may not be aware of how often you search for something, right? Or what you bring up in conversations with others that's just easily picked up these days. So it's a little bit scary, but if you embrace it, can also be somewhat helpful.
Absolutely. So for me, the big shift was, in the beginning, like I said, when I was using ChatGPT, and I used to always, use the upgraded one and so forth before I heard of any other tools out there. It was helping me a lot. And, one thing I was bummed about is that you can't, put pictures or music and stuff like that in there. And now that has changed. That for me was the first big, like, wow. I need to step up my game because, like you said, I can be left behind, or I can not be utilizing it as well, right?
Right.
Efficiently. So now you showed me that when we were on that cruise deck, I can talk to it. It talks back to me. It answers me. It makes it so easy. I can use it on my phone, on my desktop. It's just been a game changer, and I know I'm not even scratching the surface with the usability of AI. So with that said, can you share a little bit about some of the tools that you're working with or that you've seen? Just drop some names of some tools that you feel are like really awesome and that you're messing around with right now.
Oh, thank you, Alex. There's a nice set of them. One is for things such as creating social media copy, email copy. You can use just ChatGPT. All of the big models like ChatGPT or Claude or Google Gemini or Grok um, will help you with, say, for example, writing emails to respond to people, to do research. ChatGPT, Google, and Grok now all have deep research. So be careful with that, only because it may give you a lot more than you asked for.
Okay.
So, but one of the key things with that is with any of them, if you get 100 pages of data, you can say, okay, this is wonderful. Please summarize this.
Mm.
And points I can use directly. The other tools that I'm really loving. So there's the AI Genius Club that's got 40 different tools you can help just for business. Another one I think that your listeners may love is called Numerous AI, Numerous. That allows you to talk to your spreadsheets
What?
and will help you formulate, correct your formulas or, do whatever you need for the trends and the graphs and that kind of thing. So Numerous AI is a really fabulous tool I've just recently picked up.
Numerous AI. That is phenomenal.
So I think that one,
So you're saying that, can you talk to it and like, hey, I'm trying to build a spreadsheet. This is what I have in mind. This is what I would like to accomplish, and these are percentages that I want you to use, and it will put it together?
yes, yes, it's connected with Chat GPT, by the way. So that's, yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Why
it's
did you have to do that to me?
it's totally insane, but wonderful, insanely wonderful. Um, there's another tool that I like to use. I use the free version. It's called GLASP, GLASP.
Okay.
Um, That's a Chrome extension, but you can, when you go to any YouTube video with that installed, you can get a transcript. Probably not always on some of the older ones, but on most YouTube videos, it will give you a transcript, which you can then put into other tools that will help you. For me personally, I read faster than I listen, so I
Okay.
like the transcripts. So,
So basically, you utilize different tools together. You get the transcript from here, you put it in another one to kind of take it to the next step. Wow.
exactly, exactly.
This is a lot because now a numerous AI. That's something that I was hoping is out there, and you brought it up. So that's something I'm going to be spending a lot of time on, and I think it's phenomenal to be able to talk to your. I was really wondering if that can be done. So there you go. We got it.
Yes,
We got
yes.
it.
Oh, good. I'm glad I was able to answer that.
So how about you mentioned, a few different names, Claude, obviously ChatGPT, Gemini. Can you
Mhm.
share with our listeners like what are they? Are they the
Okay.
same, different, and what's the differences between them if there's any difference?
Um, okay, so the ones that I've been mentioning, I like to call them the big five, maybe five or six, but they're large language models, meaning they were trained on large data sets by some of these big companies. So OpenAI, which is still currently a nonprofit, but they're working to become a for-profit,
Okay.
they created ChatGPT. And they basically took a snapshot of the internet and fed it into ChatGPT to help train it how to be predictive and spot patterns. Other companies were doing the same thing, but they weren't first. They weren't as brave, perhaps. For example, Google has been working on this for a number of years. So they had an AI similar to ChatGPT, kind of. They've been working on it in their research labs, but they wanted to be more certain of it first before they released it. So they originally called it Bard,
Okay.
after the old song Storytellers, and then later named it Gemini.
Okay.
So ChatGPT, Gemini, they're very similar, but also different because they may have been trained on some slightly different data sets. Anthropic Claude, by the way, I think Google has a stake in Anthropic, which is the company that made Claude. Claude
Okay.
is another AI that works the same as ChatGPT and Gemini, meaning you enter in your prompt, you enter your questions, you have a conversation with it, and it will work also as well. People will say that it's better for business cases.
Got it.
So you kind of play with them. Grok, of course, is the one that goes with X.AI,
Okay.
which that one was trained on the data from Twitter or X. So maybe you want to keep that in mind. It also had a slightly different purpose. Elon Musk wanted to create an AI that would answer the questions of the universe.
Wow.
um, he was fascinated by the story of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where they ask, "What's the answer to everything?" And of course, in the book, the answer is 42. But it's part of the humor and the fun. I don't know what Grok will say to that. Grok, by the way.
Okay. This is phenomenal. Like you're saying, they're similar in many ways, but they're also different just because of the way they were programmed. So it's not like, oh, they're perfectly identical. It's good to try different ones to see how they respond to a specific need that you might have.
Yes,
At one point, maybe Gemini might be the right one, maybe, Chat GPT. So, which is not helpful necessarily because makes it a bit confusing, but it also gives the abundance of the tools that are out there and the variety of options that you have. So that's very, very cool.
exactly. The other thing you might not know, Alex, or your listeners might not know, is that there are now options. The Google Labs is another one that's offering the option of downloading a smaller LLM to just your business, just your computer.
Hmm.
And the beauty of that is then it will only be trained on the data you provide to it, not everything on the internet.
But does it have access to everything on the internet for
If
resource
you want to
purposes?
set it up that way, you could. But the main reason I bring that up is because if you have company confidential data that you don't want on the
Got
internet,
you. Makes sense.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's very, very cool. So, I don't know about you guys that are listening, but Tears is doing it to me again. My wheels are spinning very, very fast. So, we're gonna share information with you at the end and in the comment section below of how you can reach Tirza, of course, and you can attend. She has an amazing newsletter. She has office hours. So we're gonna share all that with you. In the meantime, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel because that helps the algorithm. And then, we want to keep putting amazing videos out there for you. So please check that out and help us out in that way. That would be awesome. Also, some exciting news. Tears is going to be on with us as well. And may even fly in person and come and talk to our audience. So stay tuned for more information about that. Very, very exciting. So looking forward to that. So Tirza, one thing you mentioned and that I hear about a lot are prompts. Okay.
Yes.
So can you share again, we can spend hours on this, but can you share briefly like to our listeners what is a prompt and how effective is the right prompt or a different prompts from getting better results, right? So and in other words, like, okay, how do I do this for somebody that's never used it or just starting to use AI or chat gpt and so forth? What is a prompt, and if I do a prompt, can I only do it once, or how can I fine tune the result that I get, basically?
These are excellent questions, Alex. So prompting is just the way you talk to the chatbot and ask it questions. Um, you there are incredible prompt libraries out there. There are entire courses on how to do prompts. I will say though, for most people, just being able to ask it what you want is a really, really good start. In other words, the more specific you can get, the better your responses will be.
Okay.
But don't despair. If you just say, I'm looking for houses in the 80909 zip code, it might give you pages and pages of data. Then you say, oh, okay, wait a minute. All right, I want to know the houses that are 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 car garage, then it will give you a subset of that original data. So it's always about refining and iterating. If you're not getting the result you were looking for, either you asked the wrong question or you gave the wrong prompt, in other words, or you just need to refine and narrow down what it is you want. So, may I share an example
Please.
of a prompt? Okay. So you remember the word real, REAL.
Hmm.
It's a really good prompt to use, and that stands for role, expectation, action, limitations. So an example would be, as a marketing expert, role, create a 3-step strategy, that's the expectation, tailored for a real estate coaching business, that's the action, in under 100 words, that's the limitations.
Wow. Specific.
Specific.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Now, one more thing you can do for your listeners. You can always ask, especially these days, because they're getting a lot smarter. You can say, what else, if you've asked some questions, you can say, what else do I need to know?
What else do I need to know? That's great.
Mhm. Yeah.
And are you friendly to your AI? Do you thank them? I hear different stories that, you treat them, like you should treat them good and so forth. How's your approach on that?
For the most part, I still like to say please and thank you. It's probably more just my nature of how I like to converse.
Okay.
I don't know if it necessarily gives me better results, but when I think of it as my assistant, in spite of the fact that I chose a female voice
Okay.
that engaged with it, you can also choose a male voice. I don't think of it as he or she. I think of it as it.
Yeah.
So I don't worry too much about that. I don't worry about whether it's becoming sentient or anything like that. If it does, great. We'll figure that out. Um, So I don't know if you get better responses saying please and thank you. It's just that if you had a real human assistant, you would probably say please and thank you to that person as well.
Yeah.
So
That's the way I see it too. I mean, I just do it automatically because I feel that's the right, because again, I treat it like an assistant and it's a freaking amazing part of my business. So why not treat it right, you know?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes I will even say, it'll give me something that's really amazing, and I'll say, "Wow, this is amazing." So,
So based on how you're seeing things going and the speed of the growth and changes, how do you see AI evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? Or is that too broad? Is
I don't, Alex, I have to tell you, I laugh now when I hear people talking about things that they call it. I call it the olden times. Well, in the olden days, I used to be able to do, I would have to do this and I'd have to do this, and I'd say that was 2 years ago. Yeah, yeah. So, it's moving that fast. But I think we'll be using AI a lot more for spotting trends, right? So you'll be able to go into specific housing markets or even just across the country and say, okay, let me know or tell me uh, what buyers are looking for in this county, or will there be more renters here in this section? Do we need to spend more time beefing up the properties that are there? Um, you'll have better access to your property managers. So you can say, okay, there's a potential for this problem in this neighborhood. Let's get out ahead of this. Let's educate them that they've got to have their trash cans inside by a certain time or something, so as not to upset the homeowners associations, or um, things like the condo there were some huge issues with in Florida not too long ago. If you had sensors in place in that building, um, people might have been alerted sooner,
Wow.
so there wouldn't have been structural issues that caused a collapse. The possibilities are endless and amazing. So I'm really excited for the future. 5 years might be the strong as far out as I want to go.
Right? Yeah. Without things
So
are changing, absolutely.
yeah,
One thing that I know that I hear a lot about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably get that as well, is a lot of people are threatened, afraid of job security, AI is going to take over, and so forth. What are your thoughts on that? Is that something people should be afraid of, or is it something we should embrace and there's opportunity there? What are your thoughts on that?
there's always opportunities. So when we moved from horses to cars, right?
Hmm.
That was pretty scary for some people. But there was an opportunity there, and some people embraced it. Um, that was just one small example.
Sure.
People will lose their jobs. That's just true. There's going to be shifts. However, especially within this age, you can go to your computer and you can teach yourself or have it teach you a new skill or trade
Okay.
so that you can embrace a new way of living, a new job. Uh, you know, um, yeah, that's the main thing I want to share. You can go to ChatGPT or any of the AIs and say, "I want to learn XYZ skill. Teach me," and it will.
Hmm.
So, teach me how to use AI in my business. Teach me how to use AI to identify issues in the plumbing in the building. I mean, um, you just need to not be afraid of it and just ask questions. Be curious.
Embrace it. Yeah. Yeah, like you said, job losses, I think it's going to be more shifting things around. Some jobs are going to be taken over by AI. I think maybe in the right way, but then, there will be opportunities for others that, AI or robotics can't not do what a human can do. So I'm excited about it. I'm very, very excited about it. And play around with it. I try every day, right? You mentioned and John mentioned, like, try to, use the tools at least 15 or so minutes a day just to, keep up with things. And, sometimes you're going too fast. And the other day, when was this? Like 2 days ago, I think. I asked my assistant, like, I need something specific, and I reached out to a colleague of mine for help on something specific. And while I was waiting for answer, I was like, you know what? Let me just ask ChatGPT. I literally asked ChatGPT. I got the answer quicker. I sent it to my assistant. And then, she was trying to do it at the same time. And it's hilarious because it's cool. Like if you really use it correctly and you get the hang of it, and then you get used to the prompts, and then revising things, it becomes fun. It really puts a smile on my face because a lot of times it saves me time, you know,
Yes,
and time is limited. So
it is. It is. So
very
think of it
cool.
as a collaborative assistant.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because it talks back to you. It's respectful, and you feel like you're really dealing with a human being. So that's awesome. So to wrap it up, I like for real estate professionals or real estate enthusiasts, so those that want to, embrace AI and try to leverage the tools in their in the industry, like what skills or knowledge do you feel they should focus on, and where should they start with baby steps?
Baby steps would be open up your browser and pick one.
Okay.
Uh, the one that I call them the top five. Pick one and just start asking it questions and see what it can do for you. And that's one thing you can ask. You can even say, "Hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm a real estate broker. What can you do for me?"
Hmm.
And then just go from there. So, as you said, Alex, as others have said, just start playing with it. Um, but then the other thing I want to add is listen to your clients, your customers, the people you interact with, and listen for the problems that they're having, right? So, for example, maybe families are, maybe one of the problems they have is, their house sells and they've got their new one, but there's going to be a gap in between where they need to be somewhere else, right? So
Yes.
maybe you can, but knowing that is a common issue, you could go to one of the AIs and say, okay, how can I help families who have this problem? What are some suggestions? That kind of thing.
Awesome. Start there. That's a great way to start. I mean, baby steps, and the more you use it, the more it knows you, your business, your client, your client avatar, and then it's going to be able to deliver towards that, and don't be surprised later it talks to you by name, like, and it remembers what you said. So that's phenomenal. And other way is, check out Tirza. She's on YouTube. She's got office hours. We want to encourage you guys to go check out her office hours as well. But Tirza, with that said, what are the best ways? Again, we're going to put that information down below in the comment section. But share with us what's the best way, for people to get a hold of you, reach out to you, and so forth.
I have check me out on LinkedIn and also my Facebook page. Not a business page, just a personal page using my name, Terza Ekholm. That's probably the easiest way to find me. My business name is the Tirza Factor, but Terza Ekholm on LinkedIn and on Facebook is definitely the best place. In addition to, feel free to jump onto my open office hours every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time.
Beautiful. Providing clarity and simplicity in AI. Love what you're doing. Thank you so much for the information. And I'm super excited for numerous AI to check that out and work on it because it's definitely going to be helpful based on what I have in mind. So thank you so much, Tirza. I look forward to having you on our webinar and our event coming up. And you have an awesome day.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining us on the Burr Investor Podcast. If you found today's episode helpful, please hit like and subscribe to our channel for more real estate insights. We love hearing from you, so please leave your thoughts, questions, or topics you'd like us to cover in the comment section below. Be sure to check out our website, theburrinvestor.com, and follow us on social media at The Burr Investor. Keep learning and investing, and we'll see you in the next episode. I'm your host, Alex Nahle. Stay invested.